The Chicago Bears just got some enticing news, and there's one spot on this team not getting any conversation right now, and that's wide receiver. So let's look at who the Bears are bringing in for top 30 visits. That's the best indication of who they're going to draft, and there's one name that's really got me pumped up, and it's even more proof of the fact that Ben Johnson, he's targeting speed predominantly for this new offense. And the player I'm going to talk about today is Texas wide receiver Isaiah Bond. He's now scheduled to visit Hallis Hall. I love this. And looking back at the combine, he ran his first 40 at the combine. It was clocked at 4.41 seconds. And then he ran a second attempt, and it came in at 4.39. So a small improvement. This 40-yard dash time, it ended up ranking 9th among wide receivers, 18th overall in the class. But he did do something very impressive at the combine. He notched the fastest top speed among wide receivers recorded at the combine at 24.17 miles per hour. Man, that's almost a speed limit sign. He did something else as well. He just improved on his 40 time. He ran a 4.34 40 at his pro day, plus added a 34-inch vertical. But this guy's way more than speed, and no one's talking about this. I'm going to do it right now. The guy runs superior routes, and this matches his speed and makes him more of a complete receiver. PFF backs this up. Bond has a 92% open target rate. That's the 99th percentile for college football receivers, and he only dropped 2 of his passes, which qualified as catchable passes last year. So why does a top 30 visit move the needle so much? Well, it shows that the Bears are serious about drafting him. It's a serious endeavor. And NFL teams only have 30 private draft meetings for this intensive time together. It's important. And it can really help set up prospects for what's going to be in store for them. Caleb Williams, if you remember, at his top 30 visit, he got a good piece of the playbook. He was able to hit the ground running, built some continuity and relationship with the staff by doing so. So where else is Bond visiting? It's a short list. Atlanta, Green Bay, and the Rams. But with the desperation the Packers have for wide receiver help, I would absolutely love to snipe yet another player for them in the offseason. I talked about Dio the other day. Now, granted, this isn't a first-round prospect. He spent his first 2 seasons of his collegiate career with Alabama. He transferred to Texas in 24, and last year he caught 34 passes for 540 yards, 5 touchdowns. That was over 14 games. He's projected to be a potential day 2 pick. So obviously, Ashton Genty has a top 30 visit with the Bears. So does Will Campbell. I, for one, was able to call most of the Bears draft picks last year beforehand. And looking at top 30 visits, that's the first step to figuring it out. So we can talk about running back all day, but this guy just ran a 4.34 right in front of GM Ryan Poles at his pro day. Now, these 540 yards last year might not be impressive on paper, but let's dig into that a little deeper, and this is going to be really telling of who he is as a player. Bond had a whopping 15.9 yards per catch average last year. Man, 15.9 yards per catch. In Texas, they had a ton of mouths to feed. They had likely first-round pick Matthew Golden and also Gunnar Helm being part of the wide receiver room. This is from NFC Personnel Director. He just told NFL Media's Lance Zierlein about Bond. I love his speed and the way he opens up coverages, but if you take him, you got to get him the ball more than Texas did. He's special as a runner. So now we're kind of in a spot as Bears fans. We have uncertainty surrounding wide receiver Keenan Allen's future. He might come back, but he's just kind of sitting out there. Nobody's signed him. And it's easy to see why Chicago might turn to a playmaker like Bond, right? Add that, take off the cover of the defense threat for second-year quarterback Caleb Williams. Give us a much better supporting cast to go with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. But Zierlein talks a little more about Bond. He said that he's fluid, fast, untapped. Bond played decoy for the betterment of Texas's offense, but he clearly has the talent to take on a more focused, productive role. He's a capable route runner, has great hands, and he can play wide or from the slot. Pretty nice, right? And an offense should feed him a heavier diet of shallow crossers, deep digs, quick game throws, allowing him to make magic with the ball in his hands and also to add to their chunk play total. Kind of sounds like someone that fits perfectly in with what we've seen Ben Johnson doing with his offenses. And this player, the arrow's pointing straight up, sprinter speed, great hands, just crazy potential. I love this player as well because of the way that he fits in this offensive scheme. Let's actually get to that. So what does Ben Johnson like to do? It's all about yak, right? Yards after catch. You've got Jameson Williams, St. Brown, even Sam Laporta. They get the ball in space and rack up yards after the catch. It's fun to watch, and Bond can straight up burn. Take the top off or turn a slant pass into a home run. Sounds great. But when's the last time we've had that? Moore's great, but he doesn't have top-end speed. Odunze, he's like an athletic guy. He has acrobatic catches in his arsenal. Just an ideal possession guy, and he's going to break out this season big time. He high points the ball in the end zone so well. But if you're the Bears, they want a guy in this team that's so fast that when he gets the ball, you lean forward in your seat watching him, right? That's Isaiah Bond. His comp as well that's being thrown about, Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins. Yes, please. So the only knock on him, he's not a big guy. He stands 5'10 and 180, but his role isn't to out-muscle. His role isn't to high point, even though that's a really elite vertical. But Johnson's going to find a way to get him in space, get him the football. It'd be hard to account for a weapon like that with Moore and Odunze and Komet, right? I'm a proponent of this. I'll be pounding the table for him a little bit, and I wouldn't mind one bit using one of our seconds, or he might even be available with our third-round pick. You never know. What's going to dictate the rest of the early picks for the Bears in this draft? It's who's available with that number 10 overall. And the choice with these top 4 picks will be tough. But I definitely see room to grab a running back, a wide receiver, and then work on the trenches as well early with lots of capital left for the rest of the draft. You guys let me know. What's your preference? Would you like to see Isaiah Bond join this squad? If not, do we need more wide receiver talent? Are you happy with what we have? What running back would you like to see? I still think if Ashton Genty isn't there, we either trade down or we just straight up take Omarion Hampton. You guys let me know. Bear down. It's always so fun to do this channel, and we'll talk soon. See ya.